Hello, ladies and gentlemen, bringing you another game today. Hey, how's it going? I forgot to introduce myself. This is Force from Force Strategy Gaming, but most of you know who I am. Why else would you be watching my channel? So this is a game between EG Idra. Look at him, already happy. Idra is he's a happy soul. I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, Idra's happiness is probably an 11. I've never seen anything but him exude happiness. Okay, I'm being really sarcastic. He can be really he can be frustrating to watch sometimes just because he gets so angry. It's something that I personally don't get. It's fine though, you know, whatever, to each his own. If you want to stress yourself out and knock years off your life, be my guest for sure. So this is a matchup between Idra and Namhcir. Namhcir? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to call him Nam if that's all right. And please inform me as to how I should pronounce that name. It seems a little odd. I don't really want to take the time to try to figure it out. So, a match between Nam and Idra here on Blistering Sands. Going to be walling off right at the front wall over here. Good job by Nam. Now, the thing, of course, you do have to worry about are these destructible rocks. And with that said, let's take a look at the map. Both players do have the natural expansion right outside of their base. And then besides that, it becomes a little bit difficult to expand. We do have high yields at either corner over here. Not easy to really defend that. It's also kind of a walk from your base to get there to defend it. So that becomes a little difficult. And then the next expansion, the next logical expansion to move to would be somewhere over here or in this direction. Both of those are kind of close to your opponent. So this is really a 2 or 3 base kind of map. Very rarely do you see the game progress to 4 bases on this map. The other thing too is, as I mentioned earlier, these destructible rocks, this makes it very, very difficult to defend your base. Now, as Zerg, you can of course, you know, running your units into an opponent's base is kind of a primary goal as a player, and that's why most opponents are going to be walling off against you, at least most wise opponents. Zerglings and Banelings will ruin your day if you don't have a wall off. So with that said, trying to abuse these destructible rocks can be really effective. Now, the same threat is true for a Zerg player against other opponents. If we saw some sort of a strong Marine Marauder push taking out these destructible rocks and marching right into Idra's base, he could have a little bit of a hard time dealing with that. Now, we are seeing Idra go for that pool first before going for that expansion. We might be seeing an expansion sometime in the near future. We'll see what he decides to do. Just going to be starting out with those 4 Zerglings and that Queen. Not likely going to be seeing many more than those initial 4. And actually not going for that Metal Ball boost quite yet. Going to be waiting until he gets his expansion. And then the next 100 minerals after that, probably going to be getting that metabolic boost right there. Now, over in our opponent's base, or it's not our opponent, I'm not rooting for one side or the other. Did I just seem super biased right there, as if I was rooting for Idra? Honestly, I don't, you know, either way, either player can win, doesn't matter to me. So over in the Terran player's base, Nam, we are seeing the barracks just finished. Factory going to be moving in as well. Might be seeing that starport dropping down shortly thereafter. Also coming down with this reactor right here on the barracks. So might be seeing that double Hellion swap. I would expect that actually if we see the Hellion open. And now, haven't seen many double Hellion openings. It's something I used to see a real lot of, not quite as much as of late. Now, I mean, occasionally from game to game, that is a possibility, but seeing a lot more kind of early 2 racks push into going for a heavy Marine Marauder push, trying to deny the expansions. That's become much more popular for Terran players against Zerg. But here's that swap. So they're going to be opening up with that double Hellion, possibly getting 4 as well, and they're going to be pushing out against Idra, seeing what he can do to roast some of these units over here. Now, inside of Idra's base, this Queen just about finished here. Metabolic boost moving on over here. First Queen is already out, of course. Going to be moving to the natural expansion. Idra looking pretty comfortable as of yet. Now he's gonna see, of course, there's no way he didn't. Yeah, so he did see this factory with the reactor right on there. Gonna be seeing those double Hellions pushing out in the near future. And what do we have? Double starport coming down right here for Nam. So probably gonna be seeing that double Banshee. Gonna be kind of low on gas, so probably not gonna be getting cloaked, but still nonetheless probably gonna be opening up a double Banshee here. And for Idra, we are seeing a Roach. Where is that Roach Warren? Is somewhere over here. There we go. So Roach Warren. So gonna be Roaches versus double Banshees. Well, you can speculate as to how that may go. Now I haven't seen this game, but Idra, not a fan of Banshees, and understandably so. Hopefully it doesn't go too Roach heavy. Getting another Queen would help him out quite a bit as well. Now he obviously doesn't know about this. Now Hellion's trying to move down to do some damage, but actually doing absolutely nothing. Just getting a scout. Didn't take too much damage, and of course didn't lose that Hellion, so not a big deal really. A couple of Speedlings on the board. They might be able to get us around, but probably want to avoid that. Going to use the Queen to do as much damage as possible. and then move in the Zerglings when they are a little bit weakened. That would be a goal anyway. So Zerglings trying to push forward right now, want to avoid getting lined up, want to avoid getting shot in a row, trying to get us around, but no, some good micro there by Nam, and actually managing to roast those Speedlings, now only down to 3. I think the Speedlings might be able to prevail here, though. No, Speedlings deciding to retreat. The Hellion's going to be moving right back in, and here we go. Double Banshees right now coming out for Nam. Nothing else also coming out with these 2 Hellions, but besides that, not much else going on. Now over here for Idra, what do we see? We see a lot of roaches coming out. This could be a little bit problematic for Idra. Idra is going to need another queen. Still more roaches on the way. Here come those 2 Banshees right now, and uh-oh, this is not looking good. Now Idra's going to be pushing forward and doing what he can for damage. I would be surprised if he didn't expect this, though. Is he going to see the Banshees moving along? So he is. He is going to catch wind of those Banshees. Are we going to see some additional queens come out to try to fight against this? There we go. One more queen on the way. He's going to want to try to save this queen and want to make sure that the queens engage together. Now this roach push is going to go forward. He's going to try to do as much damage as possible. If he can get into the base and at least hurt his economy, he might be okay here. Both queens pushing forward, want to take out that one Banshee if at all possible. First queen dropping down, though, and Banshee getting microed away. Second queen gonna die. Not gonna kill that Banshee. Banshee managing to stay away from the queen fire, and Idra down to no queens at the moment. One queen's coming out, trying to tech up to this layer, but don't think it's gonna happen. Banshee's gonna run rampant over here at this expansion. Banshee's gonna be moving into the main here as well to do what he can for damage. Probably gonna be taking out quite a few drones before anything happens. Out over here for Idra, you got 2-star Banshee every game. Idra not too happy about those 2-star Banshees, and going with that roach push, obviously not working out for him. These Banshees being the bane of Idra. You know, I think the last 2 Idra games that I cast, he complained about Banshees, so he obviously is not a fan of the Banshees, and he doesn't understand how Nam's brain works. So I'm sure his brain works much in the same way as yours does, Idra. Everyone's brain more or less functions the same way, unless of course you have some sort of a disability. But anyways, and this is Force from Force Strategy Gaming. I'm a little bit loopy. I'm a little bit tired. Wasn't the best longest game between 2 players, but you know, it just goes to show you, early roaches versus Banshees don't really work out so well for you as a Zerg player, so keep an eye out for that. Try to be a little bit careful. The problem with this is, you know, it's very, very difficult to scout this. You can see here, what was Idra going to do? He can't really push an Overlord to catch that. Any Marines are going to be able to snipe the Overlord down before he manages to get that. This Overlord wouldn't have made it nearly in time to be able to scout into his base, so that's kind of a real big problem as a Zerg player. You definitely do have to be wary of this and try to keep an eye out for it. Having those Overlords on either side of their base, you know, trying to catch any possible air movement patterns, and also having these Xel'Naga towers is going to help quite a bit, allow you to have that advanced warning. You saw how Idra tried to come out with the additional queen. I think he may have been a little bit better suited if he held his queens back and then waited till that 3rd queen was just about finished and then engaged. He may have had a better chance, but just engaging those 2 queens, especially since one of them was low on health, just engaging those 2 queens against those 2 Banshees clearly did not work out in his favor. So yeah, guys, this has been a game from Force Strategy Gaming. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and as always, keep watching and keep owning. So again, still on gateway tech, not teching up at all to robotics, and this could be a little bit of a problem. We are seeing a bunch of roaches coming out right now for Rhett. Burrow just about finished upgrade, as well as that speed. Getting some additional extractors over here at this expansion, and I wouldn't be surprised if he moved into the high yield anytime soon. Now, of course, we can see here that Rhett does have these Xel'Naga towers. That's going to give him a nice full scout. Also moving forward with this Overseer, you're going to see this push coming right now. Now, the push isn't that big, and then we take a look over here at Rhett's army. Rhett definitely has enough to deal with it. Again, the major threat is he doesn't want to fight in any of these chokes here, and he wants to make sure he can do what he can to get us around. So splitting up his army and letting the Zerglings come from behind while the roaches engage in the front. Hey-yo, I love those behind jokes. Pretty hilarious. We do still have these Zerglings hanging out over here. It looks like Bosser hasn't taken the necessary steps to get rid of those, so we might be seeing an engagement from those in the near future. Moving forward, Stalkers in the front, Zealots in the back. That's kind of the opposite of what you're looking for. Trying to